Really sure you're ready?
We think we're started. Greetings, Body Jugglers. Somatic Ananda here at the Body Juggling Zendo in Dallas, Texas, the small version. And we are into, I think, our third-ish, depending on how long the other two videos were, might be our fourth-ish, but I think it's our third-ish hour of this process of depth of process that we want to offer at Sunstone Teacher Academy. And this is the first one was dynamic relaxation, also known as weight sharing. Weight sharing doesn't do it justice, which is why I keep coming back to dynamic relaxation. But so that was the first one, and we're using our partner's body to create deep relaxation in ourselves, or vice versa. The second step was connecting inside of our own energy, inside of our own bodies, and really cathartically letting the body be the body and do whatever it needs to do. That creates a particular space of freedom in the heart and in the core, in the center. And the mind stops being an issue at that point. The story is not important once you've created an embodied experience. So now we've created an embodied experience in each of these lovely movers. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take those two experiences of freedom and we're going to let it play a game of yin and yang. Right? Like no matter what one hand does, my other hand can find an appropriate, playful, natural response. But they're both completely free and both completely true. That's what we're going to do with your energies right now, and this is really fun. I'm tutting. I started teaching Tai Chi on camera and would watch myself, and I started doing all these really strange, neat formations just based on playing with space, playing with the shit. But that's all posing is. That's all posing is just playing with space, and then dance is playing with space and time. So we're going to play with your soul and space and time. Do you have any questions?
Can't follow that.
How come I always do that? I don't understand why I ask people for questions and then they don't have any questions. That's very frustrating for me because I love teaching from where you're at, questions, but
hard to ask a question on something that you don't know yet what it is.
Oh, okay, I got you. So I'm always taking people into frontiers, and they don't know what to ask.
Yeah, it's like
they don't know what's relevant. Okay, so y'all will indubitably then have questions after the experience.
More likely.
Most likely.
Nice.
Likely. Okay, well, I'll hope for questions on the back end because they make me happy. Questions are like mana to my heart. Questions mean conversation. And conversation is one of the most important things that we can create for people. And it's not the same thing as teaching or telling or preaching. It's a give and a take. It's a sharing. A conversation is a back and a forth. And so if we can cultivate that physically, and we can cultivate that verbally, and we can cultivate that mentally and energetically, then anybody we play with, we're gonna. And a huge part of her struggle with me as a teacher was her heart was terrified of any of this shit being about me. And the more she's been able to experience it with other people, I believe the less afraid of me she becomes. Would you say that's true? And that's, I think, the importance of playing these games with as many people as we can. A lot of couples are going to get a lot of really important shit out of playing these kinds of games. Like, it'll be a very valuable relationship tool, but it doesn't have to be about that to create this kind of soul retrieval healing that I'm talking about, you know. As always, I feel like I said too many words. But once we get going, I don't hardly say nothing, so it balances all out. It balances out. It's the yin and yang. Okay, are you ready? You ready to move?
Ready.
We ready to groove? In the traditional world, they say no pain, no gain. And I say that's bullshit. No move, no groove. So we're going to move it. And we're going to use this music. And you ladies are going to start in the center of the floor, sitting back to back.
Cross-legged or what's up?
Start cross-legged. Oops. Man, is it?
No, it's
Deep inhale, letting your body float. Deep exhale, letting everything melt. With each inhale, let your body float like a helium balloon. Anything stretching that needs to stretch. Each exhale, actively let your body melt like butter. Inhale, floating. Exhale, melting. Continue to let anything that needs to adjust, adjust. As you breathe through your body. Very gently letting the point begin to move forward and backwards, very gently and slowly. Notice however it wants to move. But letting it move slowly so that you really feel the movement. Allowing the movement to create itself. And then going as far as you can in either direction, very gently. And back in the other direction. float from one side to the other naturally, back and forth at its own pace. And feeling when you're ready to go back to the other side. Gently one side to the other. And going from one side to the other, forward and backwards. Go as far as you can and come right back. And go right back. Beautiful. Come back to the center. Now you're both going to twist to the right. Reach your right hand around and grab your partner's knee. Left hand grabs your knee and twist gently. And switch. Switch. And feel for the switch. Good. And gently back to the center. And then you're going to let your heart do a circle. Start as a small circle. Slow circle. Slowly the circle will get bigger. Let the circle get bigger. And then begin to use your back as a tool to massage your partner's back. So you're going to literally push the soft parts of your back and just explore. Whenever your legs are ready, let your legs move and stretch any way they need to get more leverage. Now we're going to become conscious of leading and following. One person is going to spontaneously become the leader. The other person is spontaneously going to become the follower. And the leader is going to play with the other person's body any way that feels natural. It's authentic. Play with someone's body. And the follower is going to follow. But it's not just playing for play's sake. It's playing for healing, soul healing. Are you the leader or the follower? If you don't know, it's going to be hard for the other person to know. As soon as you figure it out, the nature of the dance will change. Whoever the leader is, change your movement enough to really lead, to really control what's happening. And if you're the follower, really allow yourself to listen and follow. When you watch this video, are you going to be able to tell who's leading and who's following? Now that whole position needs to shift, needs to evolve. And whoever's leading needs to create that evolution, and whoever's following needs to listen and be led. Now, do not get hyper into space or trying to create anything. Stay in the awareness and opening and healing space of weight sharing. Okay, stop. I want to feel awareness between you, and I don't feel it. I want you both to feel the awareness between each other the same way you were feeling that awareness in weight sharing. The same way you were listening and opening, and you weren't thinking, you weren't trying to figure anything out. I want you guys to connect to that space and move like that, but freely. Don't stay stuck back to back, right? Don't stay stuck back to back. Don't wonder what to do. It's that same freedom of weight sharing. But in weight sharing, there was a clear leader and follower. And you guys never developed a clear leader and follower.
Leader. It was.
I kept thinking it was you, but
I
wasn't.
started trying to be, and then I let it be hard.
Yeah.
I saw you trying to be, and I saw you not willing to follow. And the fact that I couldn't tell and ultimately was wrong is the disconnection that I'm seeing. And when you guys watch this, you'll see it. Okay?
Because I totally felt like I was following. You couldn't see it.
In hindsight, when I watch it, I probably will, but not while I was actually experiencing it.
And I felt her following me, but I didn't know I didn't know what to do.
Right.
And it was
right. That's my point though, and that's what happens inside of contact improvisation. And this is not contact improvisation, and you guys started moving like it was. This is somatic flow on the floor. Okay, this is the same thing y'all were doing standing up. This is weight sharing, but on the floor. And I'm trying to talk you guys into it from a much more creative and free perspective than you got from the weight sharing. But we started just as simply with the back and forth. But you guys were both completely inside of your own relaxation so that you weren't aware of each other. You know what I'm saying? And you would go into one side and then y'all both kind of check out and you're just like, and y'all are both in your own world relaxing and like there's no relationship anymore. It's just like, right? And it's like I'm trying to talk you guys into being aware of and playing with and loving that relationship.
And so then I use my whole, I like the lead, whoever's leading, you arms, use your whole body, and you just push and move, and it's like,
yes.
Okay, like I can use.
You can move anything, anywhere, and what we're going to do now, and just because it came up, so this will be perfect. I'm just going to talk you guys through a couple of examples of these movements that I know come up for me over and over again. So one would be you do cat-cow, and then you lay over her back. Face that way. You, Crystal, face that way. Yep. And you're going to just lay over her back. Yeah. Yes, in front to her back. And I don't really know how to tell you where to get there because I never talked to anybody who's going to do it. But you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is one of many poses, and all I want you to do is cat-cow a few times and notice what that does to Shara's body. And notice, Shara, how you have to consciously soften your body to allow her movement to affect you. So in this somatic flow, in this dynamic relaxation, we have to be really conscious of who is doing the moving, who is controlling the energy, and the other person has to be very conscious of relaxing into that, of following it. That's where the intimacy comes from. Can you guys feel that that was missing from what you were doing? Beautiful. Couple more and then switch sides so the shark can feel it. And before you switch, back to center, and then flex your spine laterally. So you're wagging your hips.
Like this?
Yep. Can you feel what that does to her? Nice.
Yeah.
So that relationship needs to always be there, and it's easiest when all of your weight can be on someone, but slowly you'll realize you'll learn to do it when it's just a tiny bit of weight touching. You'll still be able to have that leading and follow. Good, switch. Nice. That's beautiful, and that's the perfect track for it too. Good, Shara. So feel that cat-cow for another couple of minutes. Just explore that weight. Notice what you're feeling in her body. And then slowly let that movement change, but let the movement change in a rhythmic way. So whatever you do next, do it rhythmically like that, over and over, feeling what's happening in her body. And all she's going to do is trust and relax and follow. If you need to, let yourself follow, let yourself feel free to move, but only in relationship to Shara's movement. And then let that movement evolve, but always evolving from the feeling of gravity, from the feeling of the body stretching. That will make all of your movement organic and natural, and you won't get clumsy like in contact improv. Everything is clunky and clumsy. When you come from dynamic relaxation, everything is flow. Now, instead of getting stuck here, let yourself evolve, Shara, in any direction. Find a different way of stretching her body. And you're going to follow, you're going to try to help her find a way to stretch your body. Nice, nice. Play with that. Let her hang. Yep. And you go up and down, Shara. Feel that? Good, good. Back. Play with that. Nice. You're always free to explore, but you're always searching for rhythmic movement. Rhythmic means repetitious. Repetitious movement is like a cradle. It's like a cradle rocking you. It's like a lullaby. Beautiful evolution. Every movement stretching a different part of the body. Noticing any sounds that need to happen, letting them happen. Noticing any emotions connected to any sensations or positions. Still following. Still following. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start to search for a natural place for this yin and yang relationship, this leader-follower relationship to switch. Search for a natural way for that relationship to switch. And notice when it does. And when it does, let it stay switched. noticing any emotions that come from movements, from gestures, from poses, from feelings, and using those emotions in your movement. Let those emotions be as clear as they can. Now the follower should continue to follow, but become a little more active, a little more exploratory, but you continue to follow. But inside of the following, feel the freedom. Feel the freedom of anything moving that needs to move, any sound that needs to sound, sounding. Good, evolve, evolution. Still searching for rhythm. Still searching for rhythm. Every single movement naturally creating a different movement. Every sensation naturally leads to a different sensation. Now, very gently, Shara is not going to let Crystal get away, and Crystal's going to try to get away, but you're not going to let her. You know there's a way out. The weight seems to come from everywhere, and it has your center. So no matter where you move, it comes with you. You can't get rid of that weight. You can't escape. But you can be even more creative. There's something you haven't tried. There's a strength you haven't found. Where does that strength come from? How do you need to engage it? How can you engage that obstacle so it can't be in your way? It can't inhibit you. What haven't you tried? And now suddenly, you accept it. You accept it. And slowly, you begin to welcome it. And love it. And now Shara, slowly and gently, you try to get away, and Crystal, do not let her. Don't let her. Don't let her escape. And you're not going to not let her escape because you need her. You're not going to let her escape because she's not separate. She can't be separate. It's not possible. No matter what she does, there you are. And that you don't have to control her to stay connected. Because she can't lose you. She can't lose you. Oh!
That's why I had to put her paper. I got a monkey on my body.
And eventually, Shara gets tired of trying to run. And she just accepts the monkey on her back. And now with this song, with the sound, with the breath, you guys are going to have your own very soft, gentle Shavasana that will allow anything that needs to stretch, anything that needs to move, but still connected. And this is yin stretching. This is yin coming down into stillness stretching, not active kinesthetic stretching that gets bigger. It's gentle, slow, soft stretching that gets smaller. Let your fingers and toes wiggle. Again, there is a stretch as you peel yourself away from your new best friend.
When you look at the lights, do they all have a circle of rainbows around them?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah. Like each light has like a red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Yeah.
No.
Oh, I'm seeing circles of rainbows. Seriously, nobody else can see that?
Mm-mm.
Wow,
No.
that's trippy.
Street lamps.
Yeah, each light has a complete rainbow circle around it.
So rad.
Who needs drugs? I'm high on life.
They all have it.
Every single one. Like complete rainbow. Orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. I'm like surprisingly calming.
A little bit more. It's just pretty. A little bit prettier.
Just pause the music for me and back to square one. So first, I'd like to know if y'all think anybody would like to pay for this kind of experience
I would.
on a tropical island at a 5-star resort.
Easy as pie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so talk to each other about what you felt.
Oh, God. I don't remember what just happened.
It's like flotsam on the floor and you're like all over your face.
I like at the beginning how we totally did not know who the leader or follower was. It's like, I'll leave because I guess I know more. And then you were totally resisting. It's like, oh, okay, I guess she wants to lead. Let's do it.
It's so funny. I thought you were leading, but the whole time I was like, but what do I do?
Yeah.
But how do I follow? But what do I do? So I'm like, and then I was like, okay, I don't know what else to do, so I have to start moving.
Yeah. And then the fact that we both kind of thought that we knew you were the leader and I was a follower, but you couldn't see it. That's very interesting to me because I was definitely feeling it. So the fact that we weren't.
I wasn't
expressing
feeling
it.
being the strong leader though.
So that's probably why.
Mhm. Yeah. And you're like, oh, well, I know I'm following her, but I was like, still, like.
Yeah, you're still a little hesitant in your movement. Yeah. Yeah. And then once we started doing like the cat cow stuff, then it really started to come out more. Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know. Like, my brain literally can't fathom what just happened.
Yeah. I no.
I got no words. I got rainbows.
Green clovers, blue horseshoes. Sparkly diamonds.
I liked it. I definitely liked it. It's interesting to experiment with the different ways of how you can move the other person's body and how they listen and how they follow. And it might not be what you think they're going to do, but it's their way of listening. And that's all that matters. That's the practice. You move how you want to, and they'll listen how they need to listen.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed that it was very easy for me to listen to you. Even if I felt like I was suddenly going some other direction or something like that, I could come back into it because there was that flow. And I noticed I was constantly like dropping in and out of it when I was leading you. Yeah. I would be like, I would feel it, and then I'd, it'd pop, and then it would come back and pop again. And I was just sort of like, okay, well, off we go. And I think that that was one of those times where I just didn't know what to do with my body. Like, I literally don't know when you're standing up or when you're lying down, but this was like, free-form, like go here, go there, and then you're wrestling, you're rolling, you're like rolling around on the floor, like wrapping things around everything, moving, and that was just so, that was a thing.
Yeah, and then when I was being the way on you and you were trying to escape, like I've done that with him a lot, so I was like, oh, now I see what it's like to like really, because I feel like I finally figured out how to be the way, whereas with him, I don't know, I could never really, and I mean, you're a lot stronger, I used that as my excuse.
Exactly.
But it was my excuse. Today it was like, oh, it's all my center.
You were solid the whole time. You were solid. I couldn't find, and like without like actually starting to jab you, and like I was like this girl, I cannot get out from under that part of you, and you were just like,
and I wasn't even really giving force. It was just I was relaxed and I was centered. And it was that center that just created the boom. And then I was like, okay, when she does this, I'll be able to get out. Like, I know you're just supposed to move softer and like flow. And I was like, oh wait, it's not working. I can't get out. I think I should be able to just move soft and move with. No, that's not working. So it was interesting to experience both sides of it.
It was funny being the weight because I felt like I was just as, like scrappily trying to get out from under you as trying to keep you. It was like, it wasn't, I felt like I didn't feel flowy. I was like trying to like get you before because you were going and I felt that like you would have gotten out eventually. Whereas I was never going to get out like ever. Like at some point you would have been just like, I'm out of here. I was like, okay, let's do what you want. So that was really fascinating. Yeah.
And I love, like I said at the beginning of the day, passing the torch. Like everything that you're experiencing, I've gone through. So to see where I am now and to see where you're at, it's like, oh, yeah, I remember when I was like that. And so see where I am and know that you'll only get there further because it's just how it works. You just progress. Like you're just learning right now and you're already ahead of where I was when I learned because I had so much blockage and so much fear and self-doubt that like you're already opening so much and freer in your movements and trusting yourself. So it's beautiful to witness. You got it, sister.
Okay, I'll take it.
So good job in all of it, and good job in trying to express the ineffable. I could see that you were both struggling with words, and I could have easily given you a piece of that, and then either one of you would have been able to say a lot of stuff, but I didn't because I wanted to see if you could find the pieces to share, and you did, and that's awesome. And now I'm going to give you specific pieces, and I want you to elaborate. When I told you to stop resisting her, what did that feel like to you? When we were trying to get away from her, and I told you to stop trying to get away and
like
accept.
The best thing that ever happened. Yes, ever. It felt like it was actually like so joyful. I was like, oh yay! And then her weight became comfort, and it became like wonderful. And I was like, well, I can take a nap now. Like I'm good.
And what is the moral of that story for you?
The moral of that story is that resistance is futile. Duh. Is that the water flows wherever it is led. And it doesn't mean that you don't sort of intend anything with your flow. You might, but the allowing and the acceptance and the release of the fighting is the peaceful way to walk. Really down.
What did you feel when you were trying to get away from her?
Yeah, like just what I was saying before, like I felt like if I was softer, like when she was trying to get away from me, it was strength, and she was pushing against, like really trying. So I was like, I remembered you always like move so softly and you move with it. I was like, okay, maybe if I do that, it'll work. And it wasn't. I think it would have eventually worked if I had like really honed in on it, because I know that's what it is. You have to be soft, like in the Tai Chi when you say pull my arm. If you're soft, they can't move you. So if I was able to master that, I think I would have been able to get out. But yeah, I felt like I had a monkey on my back. Yeah. Like she's just
did you notice how expressive and creative your movement became?
Yeah, definitely.
Both of you. And did you notice that she was doing a different type of containment of you than you did of her? You pinned her down.
Mine was like a weight, and hers
you
was
pinned
like
her out,
grabbing.
and hers was a clutching, grabbing the monkey on your back thing. Two totally different scenarios, but it's the same relationship. You're trapped inside of something or with something, and they're both easy to do when you understand the energy. You didn't have any trouble clinging to her like a little monkey, like a little baby on their monkey's back. Mama can
I'm not letting go.
Mama can jump, can do whatever she needs to do.
I was like, Mama.
I want you two to think a lot about the confusion that you felt in the beginning and the flop around contact improv stuff that started at the beginning, and the depth and profundity of how you were experiencing yourselves and each other at the end. And the only difference was me giving you a specific framework so that you knew what the game was, and you having both felt in each other what leading and following feels like, so that y'all were able to continue that relationship of leading and following throughout the rest of it. And the games gave you excuses to do shit y'all weren't doing without it.
Right.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
I like direction. I like to be told what I can and cannot do. And you're either a leader or a follower, not trying to figure it out. Like, once I know what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm like, oh yeah, I got this. But it's that unknown that I still am struggling with. Like, I need to find the creativity in that.
Right. And as you guys do this more and more, you'll need less and less input from me, and it will happen organic. Those games will develop organically. You'll be able to tell when you have them in a place where you've got them pinned, and so you're going to keep them pinned until they get out, and that's a game. And then it's the pushy game, and I'm going to try to push you over here. Yeah, there's any number of ways, and as long as you interact with energy the way you guys were interacting just now, it's always a dance. Yeah. It's always a game. Anything else?
Still there.
Say what?
Still there. No, it's interesting. Just since Friday and having this new energy in me and just being aware of it, it's a rebirth. It's like I'm alive more than I ever have been before, and it's like I'm seeing rainbows on the ceiling. Like, that's totally normal. Yeah, it's awesome. It's a totally new way of looking at life. And I'm digging it. I'm really digging it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's what you call a testimonial. How do you feel on your 5th day of body juggling, transdimensional rejuvenation.
I feel like I am simultaneously aware of all of my dimensions and I haven't been aware of those dimensions in ever. I'm aware of them, but I'm feeling them, and they're coming in and out, and in the room, and it's really what's weird is like there hasn't been like a catharsis of any particular, like I haven't like broken into it's been like, oh, there's okay, and then there we go, and the more it goes along, the more momentum it has, the more gentle it is. I'm plugged in, and I'm full of a kind of energy that I am aware of because I've had it, but it always has had like an ebb and a flow, and I haven't needed much recovery, besides my sleep. It's just like an open pull. So I'm looking forward to rainbows and the lights. I'm really down with that. And whatever else, I think it's so beautiful.
All right, first retreat, Hawaii.
Perfect. If you're doing it on Maui, I know just where to go.
I'm way more familiar with the Big Island, and it would be cheaper.
It would be,
but I'm not picky. I'm not picky. Great job, ladies. And this is the end of rehearsal 3. I don't know if that's actually 3 hours. I'm guessing it's closer to 3.5, maybe 4. Lot of brilliant, incredible discovery with very little teaching here. Almost everything that happened today was all discovery. Like, I didn't teach you guys anything. I didn't give you any structures of anything. I just gave you excuses of how to play with each other. Just games of how to play with each other. And so tomorrow we'll take all of these lessons that we've learned. We will revisit them with hopefully a big gorgeous silk on the window so that we can get really clear silhouettes of some of these kinds of movements. There's not time in the day, but if this was a real production, you guys would have homework and have to watch everything we shot, at least in fast forward, because it's a lot of incredible movement. It's a lot of incredible material. You guys will process your experiences deeper, when you see that, and then you'll come back to it differently. But I don't have time to deal with that because we got to go to Spa Castle. So we'll figure out, we're just going to go through the process, and then we'll deal with all of this material on the flip side. But this is the meat. This is the juice, and this is the tool that not only will allow, you guys could do this tomorrow without me watching each of these videos, right? And you don't need a ball, and you don't need a bar, right? No excuse. 30-day body composition selfie challenge. No excuse. You don't need anything. You got a fucking phone. Take a picture. Booyah. Stop whining. Right? So, just make it happen, and we're starting at the roots. So there's no excuse. And then we'll add bars and balls, whenever it's financially easy and feasible. But there's no fucking reason we can't be traveling next month, and not meaning literally from a scheduling and promotion and whatever, but figuratively, there's no reason we can't be traveling in 2 months or whatever, however much promotional time you need. And Sam's the gal to tell us how to do it promotionally, and she's the gal that's gonna give us more options than we can imagine for clothes, fabric. It's one of her passions. It's the tactical.
Yeah, every time I see her clothes, I'm like, oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Like what you were wearing last night.
So
amazing. That felt like it just looked like it felt. Ugh.
Her clothes are the body juggling fitness line of apparel, body juggling fitness apparel. And I can't wait for them. And she loves bamboo, and I love bamboo, and we're going to try to figure out why it's so expensive. But I love bamboo. Like I told her, everything I wear has to breathe and it has to stretch. I don't want anything that doesn't stretch, and I don't want anything that doesn't breathe. But incredible, incredible work, ladies. I would like for both of you to take a second and imagine if I just shown you some exercises on the ball on the bar, like what today would compare, like what you actually both experienced, well, like what you would have got out of rolling around on a ball in a bar, doing a bunch of repetitions, as opposed to what you got from what we did do. That's very, very important to our business model as a whole, because this is the depth of the business, whereas Dragonfly is the marketing, that's the visual, like, oh wow, and Sculpt and Burn is the class they can get now and just jump in and do it. This work is the meat of, this is the high-end, back-end, you know, personal coaching, training, workshop, certification. It's the meat. This is the meat, and I'm literally designing myself out of it as I'm creating it, right? Because I'm in very little of this, just a little bit in the beginning, and a little bit, you know, at the end, whatever. I am kind of all up in the grill while I was shooting you guys. I realized I'm like, oh shit, I'm all over. But that's okay, because this is much more important in terms of the footage. This is important in terms of just the data. This is our chronicling of the process. And it's just gorgeous. There's nothing, I couldn't have drawn a picture to have you ladies experience anything better than what you actually experienced inside of opening into your own freedom and connecting that with another and playing inside of that space. I couldn't have written that story any better. So awesome. And that's why it has to be about discovery and improvisation for me, because truth is stranger than fiction. And ultimately more entertaining to me. Any thoughts or questions about anything today, or this evening, or tomorrow, or the next day?
I have questions, but I don't need to be
On camera? That's a very good distinction. No? Y'all said y'all were going to have questions at the end.
She said most likely. I said more likely because I still knew it probably wouldn't happen.
She's done
I've
this.
been through this.
She's done this long enough to know.
And it's because, like, at the beginning, it's so, like, what? We're going to do what? Okay, I'm just, okay. And then you do it, and you're like, oh, okay.
And
You just get it.
I did that.
I got it. I'm good.
So then I did it.
So I did that, yeah. It's good. Can't wait to do it again. Yeah. Don't got anything that I need to express about it. I'm good. Love it. All right, well, I'm sure my ego will get over needing a question to answer. Great job, ladies. I love you. I love you guys. Hit me, questions, thoughts, especially if you watched all of this shit. I don't believe many people will have the attention span. If you
Nancy
do,
will.
Nancy will. And Nathan might, if Natasha watches it with him and rubs on him while he does it. He might. Otherwise, no way he'll make it all.
My mom might.
Your mom.
I'll send them her way.
Your mom would if she was in it.
Definitely. She'll probably show up.
Right here.
Nice. Hi, Mom. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, guys, and love and peace, and stay in your center and free yourself.